Everdeen, prepare to pay the ultimate price.
I have a message for President Snow. If we burn, you burn with us.
Jennifer Lawrence once again stars as Katniss Everdeen in The Hunger Games: Mockingjay Part 1. This time, having survived the games, she must now lead the rebellion to overthrow the government. Welcome back to Arise on Screen. With me in the studio are film critics Bobby River and Zeba Blay. So I'm going to go to you first, Zeba, because you actually read the book.
Yeah.
Okay, and you said hands down, this is the best in the series.
It is the best. It's the first I mean, this series has been pushing this whole, like, this is a revolutionary, story. This is a political story, but you haven't really got that sense until this movie, where they've been really willing to, push that social element. A lot of the characters we see here being treated badly are black, are poor. It's like, it's feeding into what is actually wrong in the real world, which this is an allegory for. So that was really great. That's the strong part of the film. My problem, though, it's too much. It's overdone.
It's padded. It's
padded.
Seriously padded. I agree with you. Now, Bobby, you've never seen the first two films. I
never saw the first two films.
So you went in cold.
Went in cold, and it did feel padded. I thought good actors. I love the fact that it's gender irrelevant. I love the racial diversity in the casting, but it felt like almost like a 1-hour TV episode that was stretched into a 2-hour movie.
Yeah.
It had that padded.
I definitely felt that way. Now, I might disagree with you. I thought that actually the second film was much better than the first, because the problem I have with the first film is I don't get why these Hunger Games are going on. It didn't make sense to me. I understood it was a reason to get to the things that happen in the movie or in the story, but I just didn't buy it. I didn't buy how civilization had devolved into that. But by the second film, I liked what good science fiction does, is give all that social commentary. And you made a good point. You said that in the third film here, they had downplayed the violence in the first two films, but here they really gave you a reason why they want to overthrow the government and how brutal it is.
Exactly. And I know that, being that it's a film that's targeted towards teens, maybe there was, a feeling like we can't show kids dying on screen, but you need that violent element to make what they're fighting for make sense.
I agree with you, and I thought that was one of the strongest parts of this film. I did get a sense of the brutality of the government, the ruthlessness of,
there's
President
political,
Snow.
social grit in it.
Yes, I thought so. Now,
is Philip Seymour Hoffman in the other movies?
He's in the last one.
He's in the last one.
And he's amazing
It's leading
in
into
one.
this.
Okay.
Now, I have to say, you mentioned Philip Seymour Hoffman because this is the film that he was working on, the second part of this, when he died. I have to say, he had a relatively small role, but he really stood out.
It broke your heart, because I was watching it and I felt you left us way too soon.
Yeah.
Definitely. And there's a moment in the film where he's sort of showing the character played by Julianne Moore, who Katniss really is and what she's really got, and this whole strong, you called her young female Rambo. Okay, what she's got going.
Because she shot down.
Yes, she does.
I got a bow and arrow, I'm going to take down a helicopter.
I give it to her.
Yeah.
And the way he played it was so beautiful.
It was.
And, this is the fourth film they've done together, Julianne Moore and Philip Seymour Hoffman.
And he worked with Mike Nichols, Death of a Salesman on Broadway.
Did he really?
Right.
I didn't know that. That's very interesting. All right. Well, we're going to go. I have an interview with Mahershala Ali, who plays part of one of the things that happens in this film is that she's helped now. She represents now the rebellion, the revolution. They're going to use her, which is what they keep padding out. They're going to use her to be the face of the revolution. And so she's helped by the media and the military in taking over, which I think in itself says a lot, is a big social commentary. Now, you like Jennifer Lawrence in this, or you don't think she's much of an actress?
I'll be honest here, people. Jennifer Lawrence, I feel she's a bit overrated at times, yes. I said it, I'm sorry. But I will say that she carries this film, for a film that is so overblown and so padded, she's the center of it, and I appreciate that. But, You're also dealing with a character that isn't always given as much to do as she should be, given that she's the main character. But I mean, she's all right.
Well, she's become the face, and you mentioned something interesting that they're missing now. There's no more Harry Potter, there's no more Twilight, and she's kind of come to prominence now, and so has this idea of this dystopian future,
Right.
which is the new thing now, and I think it might have to do that we're living kind of in a dystopian
in
society.
the age of Ferguson.
Yes, we are.
Yes, we are.
So this is what people are responding to. So we're going to move ahead. Jennifer Lawrence's character, as I said, gets help from some of the media and the military. Mahershala Ali plays military man Boggs, who in the book is a white character. I asked him about being cast for the role.
I think we live in a world now where we need to cast who is best for the part, who can kind of carry the essence of that character and who best helps push along the story. And it's funny because earlier today I was asked about Boggs being described as basically a white man in the book. And I hadn't thought about that in like a year, because I'd go to work every day and just be concerned with what was going on and kind of just doing my job to best tell this story. So I think that's how it should be, ideally.
Well, what was your take? How would you describe the character you play? Who is Boggs to you?
Boggs is a lifetime military man, born and raised and about this revolution. He's lived underground in District 13, this clandestine environment. And now we're at this moment in time where we're finally having this revolution. And so he's ready to fight and to do whatever in order to bring freedom to the people of Panem.
One of the things I see happen with your character in the film is that he sees something in Katniss enough to make him want to follow her. What do you think that is that he sees in her?
It takes a moment, but he recognizes her courage and selflessness and ability to galvanize people. And she has a wisdom and an intelligence that I think goes beyond those who are kind of puppeteering everything, be it Snow or President Coin.
Now, what do you think is it about these books and the storyline that resonates today, and the parallels and the statements it's making about mankind and what we do as cultures?
I think for anything to touch a community or the world the way that these books have, they have to pull in some way, shape, or form and reflect things that are going on in our society. And they do just that, from the reality TV elements that the books touch on, to the tyranny that's happened and the oppression that has happened in the world, to people feeling like they don't have a voice, and to young people's ability to speak up, whether they're consciously doing it or consciously rebelling or not. They have a special ability to draw attention to themselves and to pull people together. So I think it touches on all those things and achieves such a beautiful balance in telling the story that I think people really respond to that.
Mahershala is really on a hot streak right now. He's an actor that's been around for a minute. He's done a bunch of work. I first saw him on a TV series called The 4400.
I never saw that one.
It's a great series. It's the precursor to Heroes. And then he went on and he did Benjamin Button.
Yeah.
If you remember, he was Taraji's P. Henson's. And now in being in House of Games, House of Cards, I should say. I'm sorry. House of Cards, which is the hot series right now with Kevin Spacey, and he's got a few other things in the fire. I think he's finally kind of coming into his own.
Good. He's a very good actor.
Yeah, and I think it speaks to what he said about being cast for whatever role you're right for.
Right.
That's why he's on this hot streak.
It is, and it's interesting too, because Hollywood has a history. There are a number of actors like Danny Glover in Lethal Weapon,
Morgan Freeman in
Shawshank Redemption, which has had its 20th anniversary, where when they cast just the best actor for the part, these black actors get a chance to do something that they normally wouldn't.
Exactly.
And The Hunger Games has had all kinds of controversy about the racial casting, even in the first film.
Yeah, I mean, you had the character of Rue, who was black in the book, but people were confused why she was black.
That's right, because they didn't read it as black.
They didn't read it. Whereas Katniss is described as probably Native American. She's not white. In the movie, we have a white actress playing her. So there's been all these kind of politics, but it's nice to see that someone like him can step into this role of Boggs and kill it. He's one of the best, people in the movie.
Definitely. And people, when they see him, they may not know him or know his name yet, but they go, oh, yeah, I like him. He's
Right.
good. He's in blah, blah, blah.
That's what happened with House of Cards. Like,
Yes.
I didn't know the name, but yes, I know who you're talking about.
Sure.
Fine
No, well,
performance.
I'm glad to see him getting work, and I hope he gets a lot more.
I do,
'Cause
too.
I think he's a great actor, has a good range, and, it's about time.
It's
Right.
about time.
About time. So we'll be right back. You're watching Arise on Screen.
Prepare to pay the ultimate price.
I have a message for President Snow. If we burn, you burn with us.